Hey everyone. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through the exact process that I use at our agency to develop and generate rather automated Shopify product reports. So these reports will typically be downloaded by media buyers or marketing analysts from Shopify. You have to go to the analytics section and then to reports, and then you will probably download the product report, the sales by product report. And this is obviously a manual process. It's tedious and time consuming, fairly cumbersome. So in order to bypass that and do this on a regular basis without having to do it manually, we were thinking of some ways of doing this. And one of the best ways to do it is to try and pull the data directly from the platform that you're trying to get the report from using the API. So whether this is Facebook or Google or Shopify in this case, this is always doable using the API. This is not always a very straightforward process, but thankfully for you, I've come up with the exact process that we are using, and you can actually replicate it for your business if you're a business owner, or for the client if you are running an agency. So this is for the particular brand here, and as you can see, this is going to be the output. So you will have the product title, the product price, the product ROAS and product revenue, and product sales here. So you will actually have to start this sheet with the product title, the product price, and all these titles basically, and everything else is going to be empty. So I'm going to show you that from scratch. So this is actually going to be automated. So this is the last 30 days data from the store, the Shopify store backend, which is going to get populated here. And you have the ROAS bucket, which is going to give you the products by the different ranges of the ROAS. And all of this data is once again going to be populated here automatically. And the ROAS ranges will also be coming here without you having to put it, of course. And this is basically the buckets getting created. The ROAS buckets and the price buckets, buckets which will get created automatically once we actually run the script at the back end. So this is used. This has been done using app script. I'm just going to show in a second, which in turn is using the Shopify API. So you just need this sheet here ready, which is connected to the app script, and you just need to have the titles of the columns, and in fact you don't even need these tabs as well. So these tabs will be created automatically as well. So if I just jump now into I'll first show you where to start with this. So this is the store, and within the store you will actually have to get into the apps and channels and sales channels section. This is from the apps section within the store backend, and once you come to that, you will come to app development and choose the particular app. So this app here is called the test app in our case, and you will have to go to configuration from there. Okay, so you will first actually have to create that app. The app creation process is pretty straightforward. I'm not showing it because in order to show it, I will actually have to show a lot of credentials and stuff, which I cannot. But for obviously for privacy purposes, but I don't mind revealing the client's name. As you can see, that's not a problem in our case, but I can't show some of the backend credentials. But the test app is the name of the app that's been created. It's called a custom app. Once that's been created, it's actually fairly easy. I'll share a link to how you can do that. But once it's done, we'll actually also have to set up the integration and for the admin API part. So these are the access scopes that have actually been allowed for this particular app. It's just write and read reports and write and read orders. You can do all kinds of things, and you can and you'll be able to see all the things that you can actually do. um, you know uh, you can actually read analytics. You can do things with fulfillment. You can do things with the custom pixels, which is the new kind of checkout system that's replacing the original checkout. It's called the checkout extensibility. And you can do things with branding settings. Is also part of the new checkout extensibility. Then you also have things that you can do with discounts, customers, and all kinds of stuff essentially. Price rules and stuff like that. So whatever you need to do but be very careful with it, by the way. So this usually should be done typically by the developer, but the admin API integration is going to be used in this case. So this is not particularly advanced. You can actually go ahead and do it. You can create a custom app. There's some steps to it. Again, like I said, I'll share an external link to it so that I don't have to walk you through the process, because that's going to, it's not complicated, but it's going to reveal a few things which I don't want to. So apart from that, you will also have to set up now a product cost data sheet. So this is essentially going to be the corresponding costs for the products that will populate from the backend. So the product data from Shopify is obviously populating from the sales by product report, as you understand within analytics in Shopify. So once that is populated for the the analysis here to work properly, for it to calculate ROAS, as you understand, ROAS is not something that's there within Shopify. There's no spend data within Shopify, so the spend data has to be populated here. It could be the same sheet also. I'm just showing you for the sake of simplicity that it's a separate sheet, and this sheet is going to be this sheet is also going to be basically used in the app script, and from here the spend data is going to be collected, and the revenue data is going to be collected from here, and the ROAS is going to be collected by this script that's going to work in this particular spreadsheet. So that's how this is being done. Like I said in my LinkedIn post where I first introduced this concept a couple of days back, and there I had discussed that this could be done. This process could actually be used for a number of use cases, right? You can do a CPA tiering as well. For instance, you might want to know what is the total cost that's been allocated to products for different buckets of CPAs or cost per acquisition. You can do it for CAC, you can do it for product ROAS, you can do it for the total number of conversions for a particular CPA bracket and ROAS bracket. So many possibilities are there. The number of ways of segmenting it, the ways you can segment this data and use it for your own purposes is limitless. But just another thing before I actually move into the actual script and just show you how it's happening. I want to just touch upon one thing here. The product cost itself is not very easy to calculate or get it here. So this is relatively easier if you have a DPA heavy account, where on Meta, for instance. But if you're running Google Ads, Meta Ads, and several other platforms, you're not always going to get product level spend easily. From Google, it is relatively easier, again, if you have shopping oriented campaigns more. But if you have, say, a lot of search campaigns, you will not get product level spending data from even Google Ads reports. And on Meta also, you're only going to get it wherever there are DPA or even Advantage Plus running, because there's going to be product ID level data. So if I just jump into a live account here to give you an example, I'll just let it load, and here it is. So this is actually the same account that we were talking about, and you will see here that there's actually spend data available here, and impressions data as well that is available here, and that is available through the process of using a breakdown. So the breakdown that we are using is product ID, as you can see here. So the product ID breakdown gives you something which along with impressions, it gives you spend numbers. It doesn't give you conversion numbers, by the way, but that's not required, right? We actually have the data from Shopify. But it gives you conversion numbers, and it gives you the product ID. So this entire thing is called a product ID, and this of course works with wherever there's a catalog. So this is like a DPA campaign. If you have an Advantage Plus, it's also going to give you this data. The only problem here is, as you can see, is that it has the number section, which is number part, which is the product ID part, and then you actually have the product title. So these two things are clubbed together, sort of concatenated, and easily you can sort of break it up using easy functionalities like text to column data, I think it's called. Yeah, split text to columns. So that's one of the easiest ways of just splitting it up between the product ID and the actual product title. So once you have the product title, you also have the product title obviously from Shopify, and then obviously a very basic VLOOKUP can be done in order to arrive at the total meta spends from shopping or catalog oriented campaigns, and you also can have it from Google using a similar logic. And if you are using any other platforms, you'll have to figure out ways. So assuming that you have done that, then this particular sheet has to be filled out. You can actually fill it out on a post out basis, like once that data has been pulled in from Shopify, because you don't know always obviously what is going to be the cost required for, which products you will be requiring the cost, because the data is going to change dynamically, right? So that's all for the product cost part. I had mentioned in my LinkedIn post also that I will talk about it, and that's what I had to say. Essentially, you just have to be mindful about the inherent limitations of the ads platforms, which do not provide the cost data very easily. So you'll have to figure out certain workarounds for that, and I just mentioned a couple of them. The other thing that in fact I mentioned one of them. The second way you can do it is use even more slightly indirect processes, like you can actually find out the number of product related information, like product clicks and all, from analytics, and then you can try and do the back calculation using the CPCs of the platforms. You can also break it down by traffic within traffic source or medium on analytics, and then use the CPCs to sort of get back to the cost. But that's indirect, and it's not always very accurate, to be honest. We have done that in the past with Universal Analytics. It was better and easier. We'll have to see how well it works with GA4. So now I'll just jump into the app script, and I'll show you how it's actually going to work. So the way the app script has been built is actually using several functions here. So you've got the top selling products, you've got the cost data, ROAS table and chart, price buckets chart, and getting data for end days. So you can obviously, you have to define the shop name, you have to define an access token, you will have to so those details are required, and then you have to use the sort of the get method. So a lot is going on here. For each order, you will obviously be taking in this particular app script is going to fetch the product ID, title, price, quantity, revenue data, and it just initializes these values with zeros, of course. Then you have to provide this product cost data sheet URL, and then you have to create the ROAS buckets, and then you have to create the ROAS bar chart, and essentially you will have to start creating. So the way this works is very dynamic, by the way, when it comes to creating the price bucketing. So the way the price bucketing works is actually dynamically. So you will have it's not that you will have to provide or it will only assume certain ranges. This part is actually challenging, and I had to figure this out, even though I took obviously help of ChatGPT. But at the same time, this is not something that's going to happen come to you very easily. Even from ChatGPT, it took quite a while to figure out how this can be done. So the way this was done is dynamically. So it's just going to take the ranges, and then basically going to figure out how many buckets to use by creating equal length buckets out of each of them. So that's exactly what it's trying to do here, and then it's going to find out how many products will find out will be falling in each bucket. So that's how it does the price tiering, and it also creates a chart for the same thing. So it has the ROAS chart, it has the price buckets chart, and then it gets the number of days. Okay, so I think the days has been defined somewhere here as well, and I don't know where exactly right now, but it is set for 30 days, right? Just check. Okay, so anyway, so this data is actually for 30 days, and that's the data that's going to get fetched into the Shopify output sheet, and that's going to essentially populate. So you can, as I have walked you through the sheet, and you can understand that it's quite possible to actually edit it from here itself. You may take the help of LLM tools like ChatGPT, like I said, but the more important thing is to understand the basics, which I just walked you through. And I'm just going to run it now because it's already connected to the Shopify output Google Sheet. And once that's done, we will actually be able to start using this sheet. You will see that the data has gotten, the output has gotten populated. So there you go. So all the data is populated here. And for each of these, if you can just take the example of any one product, so let's say for instance Tommy Outlet, and 23 was the spend in this period, and the revenue was 2086. So you see it's 90.70, right? That's what it's coming to be. So this is correct data. You have the product data, revenue data, and price data that are getting pulled from Shopify. The ROAS it is calculating using the cost data that you have provided. And on the basis of whatever is getting populated here, it's also creating ROAS buckets for you. So between 0 and 1 ROAS, there's only one product. Between 1 and 2 ROAS, there are 3 products. Likewise, and you can just cross-check with your data and see that you will get a very accurate, nice little bar chart here for you. One use case, for instance, you can always update your code to actually get the list of the products according to each buckets. That can also be used for updating your catalogs, or for similar purposes that you are actually doing this, maybe presenting to stakeholders. And from time to time, you will obviously need to do this. The good thing about it is that you can you don't have to do manually. That's another good thing, right? So you don't have to go download the data manually from Shopify every time you need to do this. You just need to run this app script, and this sheet is just going to populate to you the latest data. So like I said, you can use this for optimizing your campaigns. Can decide which products to focus on. You can also decide which products to keep in your catalog, and maybe create separate catalogs based on their product or ROAS, or price bracket buckets. So many things that you can do with it, right? You can also decide to even have different promotions based on these buckets. So multiple use cases. So there you go. This is another sheet where you have the price range, and you have the number of products belonging to each range, and you also have the nice little bar chart here. So this was it. I hope this was clear. If you have any further questions regarding the creating of the custom app, or the app script creation, or this entire process that's going on here within Google Sheets, do feel free to reach out to me. If you like this video, do like, share, and subscribe. It always helps if you guys keep motivating me, so that I can keep coming out with such useful content. And I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.